Today, I was wondering why I was looking bright in Harsha's house and dull. Right now, accidentally, I discovered that there is some adjustment in the light in my laptop, and now it is bright. Okay, good. So we will now, Uttarayana has begun, we'll have bright days. Whenever you listen to a spiritual talk, Vedanta, Gita, Upanishads, do not listen to logics, phrases, Sanskrit, and the versatility of the speaker. You must see in every sentence, in every topic, something that makes a difference to your life. They are talking, but you are not listening. You are only listening to what you expect from the speaker. You expect BhagavatGita, Sanskrit, quotations, logics. You have developed respect for that. Good, very good. But you are not getting from that talk of anybody what you need to change your life. So whenever I talk, I spend a lot of time in the beginning, even before I take the verses, to give you tips to change your life. These tips are more important than the very slokas, because these tips have come from the slokas. These tips have come from the slokas, guidance of my guru, contemplated upon, applied in my life. Therefore, these have to be given importance. Right. So now, what does Gita Upanishads talk about? Atman, Brahman. How does it matter to us? Two new words. Atman, Brahman, Moksha. All the three you don't know. Atman, Brahman, Moksha. All the three you don't know. You also don't know why you need them. You also don't know how you get them. And you go on listening for years. Right? I have been giving you the essential teaching even at the cost of continuous repetition, because truth cannot be changed. Continuous repetition. I've been talking the same thing, giving you tips. It's up to you to pick them up, to internalize, to live. First, picking them up is called sravana, participation. Contemplating and internalizing is called manana, involvement. Trying to live is called nididhyasana, commitment. These are the 3 steps in the path of knowledge. Of the Vedas, of the Shrutis. Why do you need that at all? Why do you need that knowledge of the Shrutis? Why do you need the knowledge of the Vedas? Because I have been making my life better and better through gaining knowledge. A stone cutter, a mason, a carpenter gets more than the person who carries the load of bricks or cement. The man who carries the load of bricks and cement works harder than the stone cutter or the carpenter or the mason. The man who works less gets more money. And then, compared to the stone cutter, mason, carpenter, the supervisor gets more money. Compared to all of them, the engineer gets more money. Compared to even the engineer, the CEO gets more money. Why? More money for less work, physical work, hard work. Why? Because it is the knowledge that makes the difference. According to the knowledge, you earn money, not according to physical exertion. So your life is enriched through knowledge. If that is so, what is that knowledge? Having gained which, I get everything. I get fullness. Because even in this, the stone cutter, the carpenter, the mason have knowledge, but still they are struggling. The supervisor, he is also struggling. Engineer is also struggling. CEO is also struggling. So therefore, all these knowledges can be little relative, but doesn't guarantee you security or peace. They don't give you. Because in a relative world, in a finite world, you cannot have full stop. This much, I don't need more than this. Till anybody gets fullness, he cannot rest. That is natural. You cannot get fullness through finite things, through finite experiences. If there is a fullness, it has to be there everywhere, at all times. Not a product of effort, cause and effect relationship, not a product of time, space. Because its fullness, its completeness has to be there at all times, everywhere. That which is there at all times, everywhere. No need to get through work. It has to be only known. What all of us are seeking is fullness. What all of us are seeking is fullness. But we are seeking in the finite things. We think little more money, we will be happy. Little more money, you can buy some comfort, but cannot guarantee happiness. You can get some comfort, no doubt. But the more you possess, the more you are insecure. The more you possess, the more you are insecure. Therefore, through possessions, through acquisitions, through experiences, you can only get finite things. You need them too, but that's not the end of life. They're all means. Do not ignore that. Your body should be taken care. What you feed your mind should be taken care. Your health, your relationships, everything is important. But they're all means for the ultimate goal of going beyond sorrow, death, pain, etc. This cannot happen in the material world. Somebody recently told me that his or her spouse doing big business is all the time worried, afraid. Can there be growth without friction, without work? Where there is growth, there has to be friction, there has to be wear and tear, there has to be agitations, there has to be challenges. In the material world, you do not want challenges, problems, you stop growing. So the problem is not with the problem is not with the material world. The problem is your expectations from something that cannot give you what you expect. So what is the solution? Every day you sleep, go to bed and sleep. You had several problems, family problems, office problems, health problems, tax problems, legal problems. You had several problems. Physically also several problems. When you sleep, do you experience them? You don't. Why? When you sleep, the mind is dormant. It is through the mind that you and I experiences joys and sorrows. What is this mind made up of? Expectations, judgments, likes and dislikes, right? These things, judgments, expectations, likes and dislikes, always want one type of experience, doesn't want the other type of experience, the opposite of it. But unfortunately, there is no total freedom in the opposites from the opposite. If you like something, you want it. If you like something, you want it. What you want will lose its value for you after you got it because you are growing. Your taste is growing. Your wants are growing. Your tastes are growing. Your wants are growing. Your expectations are growing. So, till you get something, you were agitated about that. When you got it, a momentary satisfaction, again the agitation starts. Because they're finite. In finite, there is no full stop. In finite, there is no full stop. So the agitations go on multiplying because of the mind. Mind's nature is all the time wanting some experience, wanting some joy from outside source. Clinging to something what you like, running off from what you don't like, these two cannot be completely disconnected. When you like a thing, you hate something else. You dislike something else. Behind your like is this what you don't like supporting the like. You have to contemplate on that. It is what you don't like that makes you go for what you like. You're not independent. And when this experience ends, what you like, what you don't like is in the other end. How do you get freedom? How do you get completeness? How do you get free from agitations? Sleep. In sleep, you don't experience them because the mind is not there. So, right thing, best thing is every day sleep 24 hours or eat 20 hours, get up 4 hours for eating and sleep. That's not a solution. Solution is to bring the state of sleep into waking. What is the state of sleep into waking? In sleep, there was equanimity. There was happiness. There was no mind. There were no judgments. There were no expectations. There were no likes and dislikes. This equanimity is called samadhi. Bring that state of samadhi, equanimity in waking. How can you do that? Detach from the mind. How can I detach? Just observe the functions of the body, the functions of the mind, the functions of the intellect. Be an observer. Be an observer and do what you have to do at that moment through the body, through the mind, through the intellect, not getting involved. Not getting involved. When you practice this for some time, you cannot do this without detaching from the mind. Therefore, there is somebody who watches the mind, different from the mind, and therefore, he doesn't have the joys and sorrows experienced by the mind, but he is not a zero. He is total happiness, which is experienced in sleep. So when you watch the mind, you have detached. You have detached. After detaching, you have to say, this is me because I am the subject, subject is me, my mind is my object, my body is my object, all the world, including God, is my object. Objects are many, objects change, subject is one, subject doesn't change. So this subject you are. Detach the subject from the object. Say, I am the subject. All challenges, problems, agitations belong to the mind. Say that I am not. Why are the agitations? Why are the expectations? Because you depend on certain results. You don't need any of those results because in sleep, without all of them, you are happy. Unintelligently, you are identifying yourself to be the body. You feel you need them. Therefore, you are agitated. Dependence on experiences, on the results. Then, the feeling that I am the doer. When you feel you are the doer, when you feel you are the doer, you means here you have understood to be the body, mind, intellect. You naturally expect recognition. You naturally expect the rewards. They again make you insecure, cause agitations. And also, when you feel you are the doer, you regret for all the failures because there cannot be only success all the time. It is the failure that leads you to success. I have learned it in my school days. Failure is the stepping stone of success. But you get agitated because you feel you are the doer. Similarly, when you feel you are the sufferer, you are the enjoyer, you feel. When you feel you are the enjoyer and that is gone, you feel you are the sufferer. Both this enjoyership and sufferership will again cause agitations. So, three main things we have seen what causes agitations: dependence on results, sense of doership, sense of enjoyership. Mind strives on these three things. Mind survives on these three things: doership, enjoyership, results. Drop them because you don't need them, like in the sleep. Do not depend on particular results. What you need for your living, God provides you because He has sent you with a program for you to go through that program of God. He will provide you what all you need. Sometimes it can be pleasant, sometimes it can be unpleasant, but that's what you need. That is what you need. Depend on Him. Don't depend on the results. Depend on Him. Don't depend on the results. What is Him? What is God? The consciousness, the existence that doesn't change, the subject that was there in sleep. That was God. That is you. That was God. That is you. Hold on to this. Don't depend on external things. Leave your attachment to results. That is called tyaga. Leave your identification with doership and enjoyership. They belong to the body, mind, intellect. You are not the body, you are not the mind, you are not the intellect. Therefore, you are neither the doer nor enjoyer. Drop them. That is called sannyasa. So, renunciation has two aspects. Tyaga, renunciation of karma phala. Sannyasa, renunciation of sense of agency and doership. Renunciation of sense of agency and doership. So this together is called karma yoga, which in itself has the sannyasa. Karma yoga also has sannyasa. So to drop these things, you need some training. But a lazy man, because karma has these problems, a lazy man cannot progress. You have to work dynamically. But there, what gives you sorrow, drop. Depending on results gives you sorrow, drop. Depending on the sense of agency and doership and enjoyership, drop. How can I do that? Now, you are working for the satisfaction of your body, mind, intellect, the ego. Instead of that, your existence, your consciousness alone is the essence of all. This is called God. Work for totality, not for egocentric desires. Work for God. Offer all your actions for God. Then what happens is, because now you are not working for the satisfaction of the ego, your agitations have become less, your efficiency increases, your production increases. So, though you are now turning your attention to serve others, your production, your prosperity, everything increases and you are happy. In the process of working, your vasanas which make you dependent, judge, likes and dislikes, get reduced. Now that you are not working with an egocentric desire, you do not gain new vasanas, new dependencies. So first step, dynamic action, third chapter. Second step, working for others, yajna bhava, fourth chapter. The last step, drop the sense of doership and enjoyership, fifth chapter, karma sannyasa yoga. We have gone through the first two chapters, dynamic action and dedicated action. Now, dropping the action, dropping the sense of agency and doership. Right? So that is fifth chapter. We shall see the verses. Arjuna vacha sannyasam karmanam Krishna punaryogam cha shamsasi yachreya etayoreka tanme bruhi sunichitam. When Arjuna wanted to run away from the battlefield, Krishna said, "This will not help you. You have to fight the battle of life. Because the problem is not the external world. The problem is the confusions that you have. It is through work only you can correct these confusions. So you must act, karma." Then when Arjuna was ready, he said in the fourth chapter, having explained all the yajnas, that they are all means, jnana is the ultimate. So he was about to accept that also. Then he says again, yoga sannyasta karmana. Through yoga, renouncing all sense of agency and doership, and karma phala. Yoga sannyasta karmana. So he again praises yoga. So Arjuna is totally confused. Sometimes he says karma, sometimes he says jnana. So he doesn't know what to follow. The difference between the fourth chapter and the fifth chapter, in the till the third and fourth, Arjuna was not convinced karma is necessary at all. Then he was convinced karma as karma yoga is necessary. But then again he says, even that is not the ultimate. You should take to meditation, sannyasa. So now Arjuna is confused. So he is asking this question, sannyasam karmanam krishna punaryogam cha samshasi yachreya etayorekam tanme bruhi sunichitam. Krishna, sometimes you praise sannyasa, sometimes you praise karma. Sannyasam karmanam Krishna. Renunciation of actions means doership, enjoyership and all that. Or probably in the olden days, renouncing grihastha and going to vanaprastha or sannyasa, renouncing rituals. Sannyasam karmanam Krishna. Punaha, again, yogam cha shamsasi. You are praising karma yoga. One side you are saying sannyasa. Sannyasa means renunciation of karma. Another side you are praising karma yoga. I am confused. Yat sreyaha. All the time we have two things before us. Shreyas and preyas. Because we have two dimensions in us, the spirit and matter. Therefore, always there is a pull of spirit, there is a pull of matter. The pull of spirit is called Shreyas. The pull of matter is called Preyas. Shreyas is good, Preyas is pleasant. So Arjuna is asking, please tell me what is good, what helps me to evolve. Because you are saying renunciation is good, and again you are asking me to take up to yoga. He said in the third chapter, all these know to be karma, and only through jnana you get. And then he concludes, yoga sannyasta karmanam. So it's totally confusing, not only to Arjuna, to all people. So Arjuna is asking, yat sreyaha syat nishchitam bruhi tanme nishchitam bruhi sunishchitam yat sreyaha etayoho ekam tanme bruhi sunishchitam. What is good out of the two? Decide and tell me, please. Because I am not able to decide. I sought your advice. You are making things worse. You are confusing me more. Bhagavan says, Sri Bhagavan uvacha sannyasa karma yogascha nisreyas sakara ubhau tayostu karma sannyasat karma yogo visishyate. Now, your child who goes to school is asking a question because the other day you got a two-wheeler for your elder son. So this child is asking, why to him only, why not to me? He is going to college, he needs it. Oh, then why are you sending me to school? You also send me to college. No, schooling is good, you say, and then you say college is better. So, what do you answer that child? Which is good? Both are good. You need both. You need, without going to school, you can't go to college. And stopping with school doesn't take you anywhere. Without going to school, you can't go to college. And stopping with school, you don't reach anywhere. You need both. Both cannot be practiced at the same time. You have to take one, then go to the next step. Karma Yoga, you have to take up, purify, then go to contemplation. Take up Karma Yoga, purify, then go to contemplation. Both are good because both are inevitable. School and college, both are good because both are inevitable. So Karma Yoga, Sannyasa, both are good. What is the point in saying Sannyasa is good without purifying the mind? You cannot do it. Purification of the mind is done through Karma Yoga. Purification of the mind is done through Karma Yoga. So you cannot say Sannyasa is good, Karma bad, because without Karma you cannot get Sannyasa. Both are good. But serially, they have to be practiced. Simultaneously, you cannot do. You cannot be a Grihastha. This is very simple, you can understand. You cannot be a Grihastha and a Sannyasi at the same time. Can you be a Grihastha and a Sannyasi at the same time? No. You have to, after the Grihastha ashram, go to Vanaprastha or Sannyasa. Right? So also, Karma Yoga is first needed, then you have to go to Sannyasa. Now, if the boy studying in school asks which is good, the father will say both are good, but to you, school is better than the college because you cannot cope up with the college. You are not developed. To you, it points out to the particular person. Here also, to Arjuna, Bhagavan says, both are good, but considering from your standpoint, because you still have vasanas, you still have prejudices, for you, Karma Yoga is better than Sannyasa. This should not be without understanding taken literally, because it contradicts tradition. In tradition, Sannyasa is better, but Krishna says, Karma Sannyasat, than renouncing actions. Karma Yogo Visishyate. Karma Yoga is better. Also, it's very subtle there. You have to notice. Karma Sannyasa, merely renouncing karma. Sannyasa, you have to renounce the ego. Sannyasa, you have to renounce the doership and enjoyership. Merely leaving actions doesn't help you. That's why he says, karma sannyasat, not sannyasa, karma sannyasat, renouncing the action. More than that, karma yoga is any day better. So, then he says, in spirit, both has the same value. Gneyasya nitya sannyasi yona dveshti na kanchati nirdvando hi mahabaho sukham bandhat pramuchyate. Sannyasi is not physically leaving the house or taking the dress. Who is a sannyasi is defining. Yona dveshti na kanchati, one who doesn't hate anything. nor court anything. Neither he hates anything nor quotes anything, because he has no value of anything in the finite world. He has no value of anything in the finite world. Nyayasya nitya sannyasi, yona dvesti na kanchati. So that is the spirit of sannyasa, not living. Nirdvando hi mahabaho, sukham bandhat pramujyate. Especially contemplate on this second line. Think again and again on the second line. Nirdvando hi mahabaho, sukham nirdvando hi mahabaho, sukham bandhat pramuchyate. All our sorrows are where there is a choice. Where there is no choice, there is no sorrow. Where there is no choice, there is no sorrow. Where there is a choice, you like some, you don't like some. What is this principle? Likes, dislikes. Friend, enemy. Good, bad. These are called pairs of opposites. Sukha, dukkha. Pairs of opposites. They are not totally independent. That is called dvandva. Dvandva means duality. Dvandva means duality. In sleep, this dvandva is not there. What is the state? Sukham, happiness. Where dvandva is not there, sukham, happiness. There, in sleep, you are not dependent on anybody, anything. You are freed from the mind. You are freed from all your obligations. You are freed from all pursuits. So, in waking, if you can detach yourself from this mind that causes duality, you are peaceful and happy, sukham, and freed from dependence on these opposites. Bandha. This dependence is called bandha, bondage. How can I free myself? I need money. How can I free myself? You need money, work for it. You need job, work for it. But don't depend on money or job for your security and happiness, because there are a lot of people who had the entire kingdoms. For this peace, they have left the kingdoms. Buddha in Tamil Nadu, Pattinattar, 450 years before, he had 9 crore cash and jewelry in his house. Suddenly, he left everything. His manager chased and asked him, what should I do your money and your... He said, throw it on the road. I have no value, so I don't want to say give it to somebody. What I don't have a value, why should I say give it to somebody? Throw on the road. Literally, it was done. So you think money can give you security and happiness. But these people left money for security and happiness. So what? You need some money, get it. Don't depend on that. You need some work, get it. Don't depend on that. So dependence should be on God, on the self, because that is what gives you security and happiness. Depend on God, not depend on results or the work. right? So when you live like that, depending on God, the consciousness, the self, not depending on the results, you are freed from the mind. This freedom from the mind is called moksha. Moksha is not a posthumous status. Moksha is freedom from your own mind, because bondage and liberation are two states of the same mind. And then he says, Yat sankhya prapyate sthanam tad yogairapi gamyate. I'm sorry. Sankhya yoga prudak balaha pravadanti na panditaha ekam apyastita samyak ubayor vindate phalam. Balaha, children, childish people. Na panditaha, not the wise people, say that completely diverse are these two paths, karma yoga and sannyasa. Sankhya yoga, prutak balaha, they say different. Who? Balaha, children. Na panditaha, not enlightened people. Why? Ekam api astitaha samyak, even in one, if you are established well, ubayoho phalam vindate, you will get the results of both. If you do your schooling properly, you become fit for the college. So they are not two totally independent things. Karma yoga, sannyasa are not totally independent things. The spirit of sannyasa is in karma yoga, renunciation of results and sense of agency. Right? Therefore, they are not totally two independent things. If you do your first step properly, you will naturally go to the next step. That's what it says. Yat sankhya prapyate sthanam tad yogairapi gamyate ekam sankhyam cha yogam cha yah pashyati sapashyati. First line, mark the difference. Yat sankhehi, through sankhya means jnana marga, because it's logical. Sannyasa, because they are all the same. Yat sankhehi prapyate sthanam, that state gained by the Sankhyans, sannyasis, knowledgeable people, tat yogaihi api gamyate, the same is reached by karma yogis also. See, Sankhya, sannyasa, he says they gain. Karma yoga they reach. Why? Because jnana marga, only knowing, there is no doing. Therefore, you gain it by knowledge. In karma yoga, you have to do. Therefore, it says they reach. See, if you are not contemplating, you will appreciate. If you are not contemplating, you may appreciate my logics, my capacity to tell you, my words, my vocabulary. It doesn't help. You have to see why this difference. How does that help me? Right? Yat sankhehi prapyate sthanam tad yogaihi api gamyati ekam sankhyam cha yogam cha yah pashyati sapashyati. One who understands both are complementary to each other, they are not totally independent. Anga angi, you need them both. That man understands the essence of them, and he sees the pashyati means who visualizes, who understands that these two are complementary, they are not totally independent, and he is a person fit for that ultimate meditation. Pashyati sapashyati. He alone can experience. And why you should not also straight away go to sannyasa without karma yoga, he says this. Sannyasastu mahabaho dukkhamaptu mayogataha yoga yukto munir brahma nachirena digacchati. Mahabaho, mighty arm, Arjuna, Mahabaho, mighty armed Arjuna. For you, your strength is in the arms as a warrior, as a Kshatriya. But this strength doesn't help in Jnana Marga. In Jnana Marga, it's dropping. Physical strength or mental strength do not help. So, sannyasastu mahabahu, O mighty arm, this sannyasa, dukkham aptum, difficult to gain, for whom ayogataha, one who has not brought the mind under the control of the intellect, which is called yoga, integration. One who has not integrated the mind and intellect means one who has not brought the mind under the control of the intellect, one who has not brought the passion under the control of reason, one who has not got prayas in preference to shreyas, such a man, sannyasa is not possible. Therefore, first to try to integrate the mind intellect means bring the mind under the control of intellect, bring prayas under the control of shreyas. Yoga yukto munihi brahma achirena adigacchati. One who has integrated yoga yuktaha, mind and intellect, fit for meditation because he can focus the integrated equipment which stopped going in different directions. He becomes contemplative munihi. Yoga yukto munihi, Brahma, that's glorious state. Achirena, very soon, he reaches there. Reaching is not spatial. Reaching is dimension. The dreamer reaching the waker is not spatial reaching. It is dimensional. It is dimensional. Yoga yukto vishuddhatma vijitatma jitendriyaha sarvabhutatma bhutatma kurvannapina lipyate. Different steps of evolution is stopped here. Yoga yuktaha, one who is an adept in yoga, one who has integrated his mind intellect well through karma yoga, vishuddhatma, reduced his vasanas. Therefore, Vijitatma, his mind is peaceful. He has conquered the mind by the intellect. Vishuddhatma, Vijitatma. Therefore, his senses are under control. Jitendriyaha. They do not pull him in various directions. That's only half. Because with all that, still there is duality. You have reduced the vasanas. You have quietened the mind. You have conquered the senses. But they will again flare up because duality is there. Duality has to end if the mind has to end. So the first half is a preparation. Second half is the next greater state, but still not the ultimate. Sarva bhutatma bhutatma kurvan api na lipyati. He who sees the same self in him and in others. Sarva bhuta atma. This seeing the same self is just the prerequisite for moksha. Because we said the obstacle is duality. When you see everything to be the one self, duality ends. I will explain this more because there is another sloka coming. There I will explain more. Sarva bhutatma bhutatma, one who sees himself in all, kurvannapi, though he is acting, na lipyate, he doesn't get tainted, means doesn't pick up vasanas. Because there is no question of ego when you see yourself in all. Ego comes only when you assert your individuality. Since he has gone beyond the ego, actions cannot taint him. Vasanas are not produced. And what is this man's attitude? Naiva kinchit karomiti yukto manye tattvavite pashyan shrunvan sprusan jigran asnan gachan swapan swasan pralapan visajan gruhnan unmishan nimishan napi indriyani indriyarteshu vartam taita dharayan. Pashyan, seeing, Shrunvan, hearing, Gachan, moving, Prushan, touching, Pralapan, talking, Visujan, leaving. Pashyan, Shrunvan, Prushan, Gachan, Pralapan, Visujan. Gruhnan, picking up. Pashyan, Shrunvan, Prushan, Visurjan, Gruhnan, Unmishan, Nimishan, Napi. Opening the eyes, closing the eyes. In all these various functions of the body, senses, naturally mind, he knows that these functions are done by the mind, by the senses, by the body, with the respective objects outside. Indriyani, indriyartheshu, senses are functioning in the field of the respective sense objects. I am a witness. I have nothing to do with that. I have nothing to do with that. I am a witness. Sun. Without sun, no life is possible. Therefore, no activity is possible. But sun does not make somebody murder. Sun does not make somebody sacrifice. Without sun, both are not possible. But sun is not responsible or doing any of that. So also, all actions in me are possible by my presence like the sun, but I am not involved in any one of them. I am a witness. And therefore, he is not tainted by the actions because there is no ego. That is called sannyasa. There is no doership, there is no enjoyership. Right? And if somebody is not able to reach that state of witness, somebody who is not able to detach himself from the mind, senses, etc., what he should do? Next verse. Brahmanyadhaya karmani sangam tyaktva karoti yaha lipyate na sapapena padmapatramivambhasa. He should hold on to God, dedicate all his actions for God, without attachment to the results, without attachment to these doership and enjoyership. And when that man acts like that, the actions do not produce reactions, because reactions are produced only if you work with ego. Where there is no ego, action is done, no reaction. Reactions are called vasanas. Reactions are called likes and dislikes. Reactions produce joys and sorrows. So a man who holds on to God, dedicates all his actions to God, is able to go beyond the ego. Therefore, he doesn't pick up new vasanas. Existing vasanas gets exhausted in karma yoga. No new vasanas are gathered. So he should dedicate all his actions to God. All his actions are naivedya to God. Whatever results you get is prasada from him. That should be the attitude. Kaye namanasa buddhya kevalairindrayairapi yogina karma kurvanti sangam tyaktva atma shuddhaye. This witnessing attitude, witnessing his own body functioning separately, mind, intellect, he is not identifying. He is therefore not wanting, not depending on results. Depending on results, feeling I am the doer, therefore I need the result. Together is called attachment. Because since I am the doer, I need the results. I am dependent on them. This together, I plus I want, Gurudev's famous equation. I, the ego, plus I want, those desires, is called attachment. Is called attachment. Because mere desire for the Loka Kalyana is not attachment. Or merely, if you are not dependent on the results, thinking yourself to be the individual also is not attachment. You should have both together, the feeling of individuality plus wanting the results. I plus I want is attachment. When you leave this, yuktaha, having been united with the self, yuktaha, turned the attention of the mind and intellect to the self. That's also called yoga. We said earlier, yoga is karma yoga, integrating the mind and intellect. How they are done? They work for a common goal. Before the common goal, what is needed, if for contemplation, the mind and intellect should focus to the self. Understand that that self is real me. This body, mind, intellect are not me. Right? And therefore, he just becomes a witness of all the activities. And he sees all activities done by the body, mind, and intellect. He is a witness. Yuktaha, karma phalam tyaktva. Yuktaha, the united one, the integrated one, having abandoned the results of actions, he becomes peaceful. You just renounce the results. Don't depend on the results. Enjoy the action. Enjoy the action, not the results. Then immediately you are freed from all sorrows, agitations. And then what happens? Book says you will gain Shanti, but in essence, Shanti is your nature. Shanti is your nature. This is covered by the agitations. Agitations are got through dependence of results. When you have renounced the results, there are no agitations. There are no lids on the Shanti. Shanti shines by itself. Yukta karma phamam tyaktva. Shanti mapnoti naistikim. It's not a peace that comes and goes. It's eternal, continuous peace. Ayuktaha. In contrast, ayuktaha, one who has not brought the mind under the control of the intellect, one who is not tuned to the self, kamakarena, because of his desires, senses, and desire dependent on the result, phale saktaha, nibadyate, he becomes bound. He becomes bound, means he has no freedom. He is not liberated from the mind. Therefore, he suffers. Therefore, what you should do? Sarvakarmani manasa sanyasyaste shukham vashi navadvare pure dehi naiva kurvanna karayan. You should renounce all your actions. Leave all actions. Is it possible? No, he doesn't say that. Manasa, through the mind detach. Through the mind detach from all actions. Be an observer. Sarva karmani manasa sanyasya aste shukam vashi. When he had detached from the doership and enjoyership, becomes a witness, he enjoys the highest happiness, and like a king in the palace with 9 gates, he, in this 9-gated city, Navadvare Pure, this body is a 9-gated city. 2 eyes, 2 ears, 2 nostrils, 1 mouth, anus and genital organ, 9-gated city. Right? Just like a king, in his presence everybody works, he doesn't work, he enjoys. So, in our presence everything works, you enjoy, you do not get involved. Navardhare Pure. This is the spirit of sannyasa. This is the spirit of sannyasa. Na kartrutvam na karmani lokasya srujati prabhu na karma phala samyogam swabhavastu pravartate. All our sorrows are because of kartrutvam. I am the doer. Right? And these particular preferences of actions and attachment to results. It says, God has not created them. If God has created them, it should be same for all. They differ from person to person. Therefore, you, the ego, the individual, develop the attitude of doership, enjoyership, gets attached to results. Bhagavan has not created them for you. They function by their very nature, swabhava. It's the nature of the eyes to see forms. And when mind functions through them, some forms you like, some forms you don't like. It's the nature of the ears to pick up sounds. And the ears cannot function without the mind. And when the mind functions, some sounds you like, some sounds you don't like. That's called swabhava, according to each one's vasanas. According to each one's vasanas, you develop likes and dislikes, dependency on the results, sense of agency. God has not created them. Nadatte kasyachit papam nachaiva sukrutam vibhuhu ajnanenavrutam jnanam tena mukyanti jantavaha. We also say, God is unkind to me, God is kind to me, God is kind to others, not to me, or God is kind to me, not to others. It says, God has nothing to do with these things. He has neither created punya for you, papa for others. He doesn't take on himself any punya or papa. He neither created them, nor does he take your punya, your papa. He has nothing to do with them. Example, remember the sun. Sun has nothing to do with the murder or the sacrifice that happens under him because of the life that people gain through him. Because of this ignorance that they are the self, they think they are the individual. And that ajnana, ignorance of the self, conceals this non-dual, eternal, blissful self. Because of the ignorance. Ajnanena avrutam jantavaha. They are not yet become human beings. They are just born. What is born is called jantu. Only when you start thinking, you are called a manushya. Jantavaha. Ajnanena avrutam jnanam. Kena mukyanti jantavaha. This knowledge, which is the nature of the self, which is yourself, is concealed by ignorance. And therefore, you get deluded. Jnanena tu tadajnanam yesham nashitam atmanaha tesham aditya vajnanam prakashayati tatparam. Once you gain this knowledge of the self, jnanena tu tad ajnanam, the ignorance that you are the body, mind, intellect, get destroyed. Once you gain this knowledge, you are the self. You are not the body, mind, intellect. The ignorance that conceal this knowledge, that makes you suffer, that's destroyed. So what you should do, gain this knowledge. Once this knowledge is gained, tesham adityavat jnanam prakashayati tatparam. Like when the clouds have moved away, the sun shines by itself. The clouds of ignorance, when they move away, the ever-present, effulgent self reveals itself. The ever-present self reveals itself. So, you are not creating knowledge. You are not creating moksha. You are not creating happiness. You are removing the obstacles that are covering them. The obstacles are removed by detaching from them. That's called the witness attitude. And the steps on gaining this knowledge is said in the next verse. Tad buddhaya tadatmanaha tannistha tatparayanaha gacchantya punaravrittim jnana nirdhuta kalmashaha. You gain a state where you do not again take birth to suffer as an individual ego. You do not take birth as an individual ego to go through this process of all blow hot, blow cold situation. It doesn't happen to you. Why? Kalmashaha, vasanas. ego. They are all destroyed, nirdhuta. By what? Jnana. Knowledge has destroyed them. How do I get that knowledge? Tad buddhayaha. First, you gain that knowledge through listening. Sravana. Participation. Participation. Listening. Sravana. Try to understand a little also. But it's not assimilated. Tad atmanaha. Next step. Make it your own. Next step. That's involvement. Then tat parayanaha. That's commitment. Shravana manana nididhyasana. Right? So that buddhayaha, having got this knowledge, tad atmanaha, making your own, tan nishtha, staying there, tat parayanaha, and thereafter you merge with that knowledge. Listening, participation, contemplation, listening, participation, reflection. Reflection is involvement, and meditation is commitment. Commitment to what? Meditation on what? Listening about what? Tat parayanaha. That self to be the ultimate goal of your life. That self to be the ultimate goal of your life. And such a man, how does he get freedom? How does he go beyond sorrows? How does he go beyond judgments? Vidya vinaya sampanne brahmane vihastini shunichaiva swapakecha pandita samadarshanaha. Vidya vinaya sampanne. He sees somebody who has all knowledge, humility, knowledge and humility together. For ordinary people, if they have knowledge, they don't be humble. But real jnanis, they have knowledge, but they are humble. Vidya vinaya sampanne. Brahmana, in the man who is established in the path of Brahman. Gavi, cow. Hastini, elephant. Shunichi, a dog. Swapaka, dog eater. In all of them, the enlightened man sees the same God, Samadarshanaha. It doesn't mean that he cannot distinguish a Chandala and a Brahmana. He treats them same. No, he sees the same God in all. You have two broomsticks bought from the same shop, same price, brought home. One day, you put one of them in the bathroom, another in the puja room. Same broomsticks, but now their associations have changed. You cannot exchange. You cannot bring the bathroom broomstick to the puja room. You may bring the puja room broomstick to bathroom, but you cannot take the bathroom broomstick to puja room. But he sees both are same. Similarly, the wrappers are different. The containers are different. But the content is the same. This is one. So he sees God everywhere. One is not enough. Such a man understands if somebody is doing wrong things, if somebody is violent, if somebody hurts him, he understands that he is in the process of evolution. He is the same God. Due to his vasanas, he is behaving like that. That's natural. He is growing. Everybody is growing. I was also there. I am growing. So he doesn't find fault and have bitterness towards the other man. When you don't have bitterness to the other man, you gain your peace. So that, therefore, this Sarvatma Bhava, the one God in all, Samatva, seeing the same God in all, is most essential for spiritual attainment. Ihaiva taijita sargaha yesham samye stitam manaha nirdosham hi samam brahma tasmad brahmani te stitaha. One who has seen this oneness, one who experiences this oneness, and one whose mind is established in this oneness, is free from raga dveshas, likes and dislikes, and for him is the same Brahman everywhere, and therefore whatever he sees, whatever he listens, whatever he does, he is all the time established in that self. And therefore, there is no reason to be born again, to go through all our miseries. So he conquers this phenomena of birth and death, means the ego. He goes beyond the ego. It is the ego that makes you go through again and again. And that you go through when you see the one God everywhere. Right? Na prahriyet priyam prapya no dvijechap prapya apriyam. No dvijechap prapya apriyam. Sthirabuddhi rasam mudhaha brahmavid brahmane stitaha sthirabuddhihi. Steady wisdom. Brahmavid brahmane stitaha. He being the knower of Brahman gets established in Brahman. And since he sees Brahman everywhere, he draws his inspiration and happiness from Brahman. He has no value for external things. When something he gains, he is not excited. Something he loses or something unpleasant comes, he is not depressed. When something pleasant comes, he is not excited. When something unpleasant comes, he is not depressed. His mind is steady. That's called Sthita Prajna, which we did in the second chapter, the state of Samadhi. Our goal is to reach there. That is through meditation. That is the next chapter, sixth chapter. So now, from the fifth to the sixth, what are the qualifications that are needed to become fit for that sixth chapter meditation, or the next few verses? Next few verses gives the background through which you transit to that state of meditation, which we shall see next week. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Sri Gurubhyo Namah. Hari Om. Thank you all. God bless you all. Hari Om.